All right, let's jump right into this week's deep dive. We've got quite a stack of material you sent over. Really interesting stuff.
Yeah, it is. It centers around this book, right?
Hmm.
Presenting a pretty, well, a pretty radical idea about where some of our life challenges might actually come from.
Exactly. It pushes the boundaries, this material. The book, Heal Your Ancestors to Heal Your Life, it suggests, the issues we face today, they're not always just about us.
That's the core of it, is
Yeah.
saying our personal history isn't the whole story.
Right. So our mission today, basically, is to explore this concept, the method the book calls genealogical regression.
Mhm.
We want to unpack the main idea, look at how this technique is supposed to work.
Yeah, the mechanics of it.
And I think this is the really fascinating part. Dive into some of these case studies from the book. See how, according to this author, ancestral experiences might be leaving echoes in your life right now.
Definitely. It's a perspective that might just shift how you look at things, yourself, your family history, maybe those patterns you haven't quite figured out.
Okay, so let's unpack that core idea first. The book really starts with this premise that we're connected to our families, our ancestors, in ways much deeper than we usually acknowledge.
Far more intricately, yeah. The author's belief is that our ancestors' lives, their struggles, their successes, their pain, their joys, they didn't just happen then. They actively shaped the energetic and emotional landscape we inherit.
So it's like their experiences are woven into us somehow.
That's the argument, that these things are part of our fabric.
Which leads to the main point that the stuff you might be dealing with now, relationship issues, maybe weird health problems, money blocks, feeling stuck,
Right.
it might not just be from your childhood or, this lifetime.
Yeah.
The roots could actually go back to unresolved stuff from an ancestor.
Exactly. And the book explores this idea that life lessons, especially the hard ones, often come through painful experiences.
Hmm.
And sometimes the suggestion is these unresolved energies or lessons in a family line, they look for expression maybe through later generations.
So by working on yourself.
The belief is, yeah, you can heal yourself and potentially send healing back, bring peace to ancestors, clear the way for flicker generations too.
It's interesting how that ties into today, with everyone doing DNA tests and building family trees online.
Right. Genealogy is huge now.
It gives this kind of abstract idea a more tangible anchor, doesn't it? People are actually finding these connections, these names and dates.
It provides a real-world context, and
Mm.
sometimes, apparently, it can even help sort of validate things that come up in this kind of energetic work.
Okay, so let's talk about the actual technique, genealogical regression. Now, people might have heard of past life regression.
Which usually focuses on your soul's journey across different lives.
Right. But this is presented as different.
It is, yeah, it's a different angle. Genealogical regression, as the author lays it out, uses similar tools, guided imagery, maybe hypnosis,
Yeah.
techniques to get to deeper consciousness.
Okay.
But the key difference is the focus. You're guided to find the root of an issue, not in your own past life, but in the life of an ancestor.
And why would that be necessary? Why look there?
Well, the book suggests that sometimes, even after you've done past life work, certain issues just stick around. They don't fully resolve.
Ah, suggesting the root cause is somewhere else.
Exactly. Beyond your own soul's direct history. The author talks about it working with memories or energies on what they call a holographic level.
Holographic level, meaning...
Sort of like the whole family history is accessible within you energetically,
Yeah.
or maybe more practically, it happens in the theater of the mind.
Okay, so through visualization, intuition,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Right. It's accessed symbolically, and the author is clear, this isn't scientifically provable in the usual way,
Sure.
but they emphasize the client to often report tangible healing and lasting change. Success really depends on the client being open, committed, and trusting the process.
Makes sense. So if you're in this guided state, what are you actually doing? What are the techniques for healing?
Well, the book lists quite a few tools and actions. There's the guided imagery,
Yeah.
hypnosis,
Mm.
connecting with what they call the higher selves of ancestors or even living parents.
Higher selves, like their wisest aspects.
Sort of, yeah. The most aware part. And sometimes connecting with spirit guides or angels is mentioned too, as part of the support system.
And the actual healing work, what does that look like?
It's often symbolic, but meant to be deeply felt. Things like sending healing light, visualizing positive energy going to past events or specific people, or the whole line.
And energy.
Yeah, and a big emphasis on forgiveness. Asking for it, extending it, maybe ancestor to ancestor, or you forgiving an ancestor, or them forgiving you.
Forgiveness seems key.
Very much so. Also cutting energetic cords, releasing unhealthy ties or inherited burdens,
Yeah.
and energetically reframing past events, releasing the heavy emotion tied to them.
So the change happens internally in this guided space.
Right, inside your mind or energetically.
But the belief is that it creates real shifts outside in your actual life.
That's the core idea. Address the deep energetic roots, clear the blockages, and let positive change happen now.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. The case studies. The book is full of them. Names changed, obviously, for privacy.
Yeah, they illustrate how these ancestral links are thought to play out.
Let's look at some examples. Maybe start with physical stuff.
Good idea. The book mentions Peter. He had chronic stomach problems, right? Doctors couldn't figure it out. Through regression, he apparently connected this to a poor ancestor back in the Philippines, early 1800s, who suffered terrible hunger pains fighting for food.
Wow. And Peter felt that connection.
Yeah, and interestingly, his grandfather and his father also had stomach issues.
Yeah.
So the healing involved sending light, sending peace to that ancestor and that specific event.
Suggesting a sort of physical echo down the line. What about Brooke? Her case involved a family history of a specific illness, maybe cancer.
Yes, her regression linked this pattern to the wife of an ancestor who died in the Crimean War back in the 1850s.
Okay.
This wife apparently had intense, unresolved grief and anger. And that energy, that pattern, was seen as being passed down, manifesting physically as the illness in the family.
So the healing there was.
Sending light, sending peace, and cutting the energetic cords to that heavy grief and anger.
Makes sense. And Dana, sharp back pain, unexplained.
Right. And spiritually, back pain is often linked to feeling unsupported. Her own past lives didn't show a cause.
So an ancestor.
Yeah, a great-great-great-grandfather. He'd been attacked, robbed, survived by playing dead, but then lived the rest of his life in fear and mistrust, very isolated.
Ah, that lack of support, fear.
Exactly. That energy pattern was believed to have passed down, showing up as her physical back pain. Again, sending light to him, and the line was part of the healing.
It's striking how physical sensations or vulnerabilities seem to get imprinted, according to this material. Not just a story, but a body memory almost.
Yeah. And it's not just physical. What about emotional or psychological patterns? That seems like a huge area for this kind of thing.
Absolutely. The book talks about Kaehr. She had low self-esteem, always worried what people thought, dealt with depression, even ulcers. She felt this heavy fog that wasn't just hers.
Mm-hmm. Where did that trace back to?
Well, initially to her mother's patterns, but deeper down to a warrior ancestor. This ancestor felt immense guilt and failure because he couldn't save his family from something terrible.
Oh, wow.
That unresolved burden, that feeling of failure, manifested down the line as this pattern of struggle and low self-worth. Healing involved him receiving forgiveness for that guilt he carried.
And Joyce. She had intuitive gifts, but was terrified to use them.
Yeah, totally afraid. Even though her past life showed she had used them before, the block wasn't from her own past lives this time.
So, ancestors again.
On her mother's line, an ancestor who lived in a castle court, Middle Ages, British Isles somewhere. This woman was terrified of her own abilities, kept them secret because being different back then could be deadly. Ah, so Joyce inherited the fear.
That was the connection made, yeah. That ancestral fear was the blockage. Healing involves sending light to that ancestor, cutting cords to the fear. And Joyce apparently started using her gifts publicly after that.
It's interesting how many of these seem to involve fear or guilt or unexpressed parts of ourselves. Maybe those energies get stuck more easily.
It seems like a common theme in the examples, definitely. And these patterns can impact our life path too, our relationships.
Right.
Like Armand. He had this weird obsession with Asia.
Right, but felt sick and saw disturbing images when he actually went there.
Yeah, really strong physical reactions. And it wasn't his past lives. Turns out he had Chinese ancestry, mother's aunt's side.
Okay.
The source was found in a young ancestor, 1600s Ming Dynasty. A teenager who joined a rebellion against his parents' wishes brought perceived disgrace onto the family.
So a conflict between his path and the family energy.
That was the idea. The healing involved the ancestor seeking forgiveness in the regression. And reportedly, this explained both Armand's pull towards China and his negative reactions there.
Fascinating. And Cliff, successful guy, banker, but facing retirement indecision after a health scare.
Yeah, driven by this need for more, rooted in childhood poverty.
Yeah.
But the deeper pattern, the book linked it to an ancestor in Ireland, generations back.
What happened with him?
He got a girl pregnant, she was banished, and he carried this lifelong guilt, feeling not good enough.
And that resonated with Cliff.
Big time.
Yeah.
It mirrored Cliff's own hidden experience from high school, same situation, girlfriend banished, his own unresolved guilt fueling his drive and indecision. Healing the ancestor helped Cliff integrate his own past.
Wow. Okay. The book also gets into curses and vows. That sounds intense.
It does. The author suggests that just the belief in a curse or a powerful vow an ancestor made can act like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The energy of the story itself is powerful.
So it doesn't have to be like literal magic.
Not necessarily. The ingrained belief holds the power. Look at Luna. She had depression and this really disturbing pattern of violence in her family history, mafia stuff, shooting.
Yeah, that sounds heavy.
The source was traced to Sicily, early 1800s. An ancestor killed someone who was about to kill him after he turned against the local power group.
Okay, self-defense, but
The dying man cursed him and his family for the betrayal, said they'd suffer forever. This ancestor later died by being shot in the face,
ooh,
which was energetically linked in the regression to a mole on Luna's face. The healing was complex forgiveness between the ancestor and the man who cursed him, releasing the curse's energy.
that's incredible. And Toby, adopted, generally good life, but just plagued by bad luck.
Yeah, constant bad luck accidents, losing jobs, failing tests. He felt cursed. And his birth mother had actually told him her family was cursed, and she gave him up partly to save him from it.
Oh, man. So did he have a literal curse?
Well, according to the book, no. It was the powerful belief in the curse inherited from his birth mother that was manifesting the bad luck.
So the healing was about...
Releasing that belief. In the regression, the birth mother figure realized she couldn't save him from a curse, but could find peace for herself. And Toby let go of that internalized story that he was doomed. That idea of belief shaping reality is, well, it's pretty powerful. Curse or no curse.
These examples, they cover such a spectrum. Physical pain, fear, life blocks, relationships, curses. It really hits home the book's point about how deep these ancestral echoes might go. But the book doesn't just tell stories, right? It offers tools for people listening to try this themselves.
Exactly. That's a big part of it.
Yep.
The last section is basically a workbook with scripts for guided journeys. You can record them yourself or have someone read them.
What kind of journeys?
All sorts. Connecting with parents, living or deceased, through their higher selves. Journeys to meet birth parents, even energetically before you were born. Exploring past lives you might have shared with adoptive parents.
Okay, interesting.
And then, really core to the book's theme, specific ancestral healing journeys. For your mother's line, your father's line, birth family lines, adoptive lines.
So, really targeted.
Yeah. Plus journeys for clearing family curses or vows, meeting a specific ancestor for wisdom, a big one for healing all ancestors together on a symbolic stage, and even one for people who feel like they're the end of the line in their family.
And the process is just follow the script.
Follow the script, use guided imagery, and the key thing stressed is trusting what comes up, even if it feels like imagination. It's presented as a journey, takes practice. The belief is that doing this work consistently brings more peace, clarity, positive shifts. Recording them in your own voice is suggested because, the subconscious responds well to that.
Right. It's presented as an active way to engage with these potential connections.
Exactly. Work towards healing and resolution.
So if we step back from all the individual stories and the techniques,
Yeah.
what's the bigger picture here? What does the book say this all adds up to?
Well, the conclusion really circles back to this idea of interconnectedness, that ultimately all people, all life come from the same source. Cosmic stardust, as the author puts it. So the argument is that when you do this individual healing, especially healing these deep ancestral patterns, it's not just for you.
It ripples out.
Yeah. It's seen as contributing to healing the collective consciousness, the whole of humanity, in a small way.
That's a big thought. So why do the work? Why dig into this potentially heavy stuff?
According to the author, for your own peace, your own happiness, absolutely, but also for the greater good of all beings.
The potential impact goes way beyond just you and your immediate family.
That's the framework presented, that resolving these old patterns influences the whole web, that energetic connection between everyone.
Okay, so we've really dug into this material today, explored this idea that your ancestors' unfinished business, their unresolved experiences, might be quietly influencing your life right now.
Showing up as physical things, emotional patterns, challenges that just don't seem to budge.
And we've looked at how techniques like genealogical regression, at least as described in this source, offer a potential way to, find those connections and actively work on them.
With the belief, the hope, that doing so can bring real, tangible, positive shifts to your life now and maybe your future too.
It leaves you thinking, doesn't it? Consider those invisible threads connecting you, not just back through time, but maybe sideways, to everyone around you now. What kind of ripples could your healing send out, not just in your family, but maybe wider? Something to ponder.